They would later call it the crime of the century, not because anyone was hurt, but because of how flawless it seemed. A crime so clean and precise, it embarrassed the most powerful law enforcement agency in America. On a cold Tuesday evening in Boston, January 17, 1950, 11 men vanished into history. They walked into the most secure private vault in the United States and walked out with nearly $30 million in today's money. For the next 6 years, the FBI chased nothing but shadows. No fingerprints, no witnesses, no weapons, no proof the robbers had ever existed. To understand how this happened, you have to understand Tony Pino. He wasn't just a criminal, he was a perfectionist obsessed with control. Pino didn't want to rob Brink's, he wanted to defeat it, and he was willing to wait as long as it took to do it perfectly. The gang didn't rush the job or rely on luck. For 2 full years, they studied the Brink's building like scientists. They memorized every guard's habit, every shift change, every routine. They knew the building better than the people paid to protect it. But the most unbelievable part came before the robbery ever happened. The gang broke into Brink's dozens of times without stealing a thing. They picked the locks at night, walked around, studied the space, and left before sunrise. No alarms, no suspicion, no sign they had ever been there. During these secret visits, they removed the lock cylinders from the doors. A corrupt locksmith made perfect copies of the keys, and the locks were returned by morning. By the time the real night arrived, the vault was no longer a mystery. The impenetrable fortress had already been conquered. January 17, 1950. Cold, foggy, quiet. At exactly 6:39 p.m., 7 men entered the Brink's building. They wore navy pea coats and rubber Halloween masks. They didn't force their way in. They simply unlocked the doors. There were no explosions, and no alarms shattered the silence. Security systems never stood a chance against preparation. Inside the counting room, employees looked up in shock. They saw masked figures resembling old men and Captain Marvel. The robbers didn't shout or panic. Within minutes, 5 employees lay face down with their hands tied. The gang moved like a factory assembly line. Cash, coins, and securities were packed into 28 heavy canvas bags. In just 30 minutes, it was over. They left with over $1.2 million in cash and $1.5 million in checks. Not a single shot was fired, and not a single trace was left behind. As their vehicle disappeared into the Boston fog, the crime scene looked untouched. The FBI was humiliated by the sheer perfection of the crime. J. Edgar Hoover personally assigned elite agents to the case, but every lead ended in silence. The robbers had thought of everything. They wore rubber-soled shoes to muffle their steps. They even checked each other's pockets to make sure nothing could be dropped. After the robbery, the gang made one rule. No one would spend the money for 6 years. The statute of limitations was their finish line. If they stayed quiet long enough, they would walk free forever. But humans aren't machines. Greed, fear, and impatience began to rot the plan from the inside. The weak link was Joseph "Specs" O'Keefe. He was arrested on an unrelated charge shortly after the heist. From his prison cell, he watched his partners live freely on the outside. He ran out of money for lawyers and for his family. The gang refused to send him his share of the Brink's money. Worse still, they tried to have him killed to ensure his silence. That was their fatal mistake. Bitter, broke, and afraid, O'Keefe decided to talk. In January 1956, just 5 days before the statute expired, he gave a full confession to the FBI. Arrests came fast, and most of the gang received life sentences. The perfect crime collapsed at the final moment, but the money was never fully recovered. To this day, the millions remain missing, buried somewhere in history.